Welcome to Not in a Huff with Jackson Huff, where we interview newsmakers, storytellers, and all-around interesting people. Sit back, relax, unless you're driving, and enjoy the show. Here's Jackson.
Hello. I am Jackson Huff. This is Not in a Huff. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Great week for you. I'm interviewing two people this week. Done it a few times before. Normally it's from, an American perspective and someone overseas. Not the case today. They actually live in the same city and know each other. I'm interviewing two people that are featured in cut videos on YouTube. These are videos, don't know whether you've seen them, urge you to check them out. They've got some really kind of just entertaining, people talking and answering questions with their mother-in-law and ones that, you're guessing somebody's job just by them being in a lineup. There's ones that you're guessing what language people are speaking. It's just they're all really entertaining. They do some, I guess, some more risque ones, so to speak, about interesting topics. But overall, I think that Cut is just a really cool video platform on YouTube because they just cover so many things, and we learned that, just as different as you see people, really people are all the same. People have this commonality, and that's why I really enjoy watching cut videos. So, the quest was to find some people that were featured in these videos because some of the same people are featured over and over and over. Noticed that, and I wanted to reach out to some and see how did they get on these cut videos. How did they, start filming some of these crazy antics that happen. How do they continue to get called back, and a little bit about them, when they're not starring in YouTube videos that literally have millions of views. The people that I'm talking to today, Jasmine Kendrick and Aunjoli Jean-Pierre, their videos combined over 100 million views. Both of them really, really cool people. Really enjoyed speaking to both of them. We're going to learn about Jasmine first, how she got involved. She actually got involved a little bit because of Aunjoli, who we're going to hear from second. So really cool tie-in there. Enjoyed speaking to both of them. Let's get to my interview with Jasmine, and then we'll pick it to Aunjoli. I have Jasmine Kendrick with me today. Jasmine, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for reaching out.
For sure. So obviously we know you from Cut and those videos on YouTube, but tell us just a little bit about yourself outside of the world of Cut videos.
Yeah, no, so I am a Seattle native, born and raised here. I've not actually spent time anywhere else. So I'm through and through a Seattle OG. But outside of that, I am an HR professional. So my 9 to 5 is an office job. Yeah, I'm the one that's laying down the hammer and laying down the law in the office. I have a passion for dancing. I love makeup and beauty. So I do a little bit of that kind of stuff on the side, but I also have a podcast that I run with one of my former roommates now because she moved out. But I've been doing that for a little over 2 years now. So high level, that's Jasmine right now.
Yeah, I like it. That's funny. So you say you're a Seattle native. Tell us just a little bit about, I guess, the Emerald City.
Let's see. So high level, these are the most common things that people will ask about Seattle, just assume about Seattle is it rains all the time here, which it's not always raining. It's always definitely kind of gray, more often than not. And when it does rain, it's usually more of a sprinkle. It very rarely is just pouring on us. That's one thing that I see. We're always depicted and it's always showering here. It's really not. We have some of the most beautiful springs and summers here. We have some beautiful scenery and all of that stuff. So I love Seattle for that reason. I feel like we get the best of everything. We've got the water, we've got mountains, we've got, beach, all that kind of stuff. And then another one is, Starbucks and like the Uggs thing. And yeah, we have Starbucks everywhere, but where do you go that doesn't have Starbucks everywhere? You know, like, let's be honest. I think Seattle's coffee scene is starting to get a little bit more of like, yeah, Seattle's like the giant around here, but here's where you can get other great coffee in Seattle, you know, like that kind of thing. But definitely stereotypical. We're super hipster out here. Let's see, what else? Food. We have some of the best food out here. I don't know if I'm biased because I like to eat, but there's a lot of great places to eat good food at in Seattle. And if you like, you can find a lot of food blogs that I found on Instagram that happen to be in Seattle that I never even noticed or like knew about. So, you know, we got people putting us on the map as far as like food goes. So, yeah.
So this is a kind of a tall task, but you know, we do know you from Cut. So let's kind of just act like, you know, people don't know what Cut is. So give us the high level of what Cut is.
Okay. So let's see. Cut is a Seattle-based production company, and they kind of made a name for themselves on YouTube from starting these like truth or drink videos, which is like a game that, you know, there's truth or dare. And with truth or drink, you know, instead of a dare, you would just take a shot or something. They've got fear pong as well, which is just like beer pong, but way more extreme. There's dares under the cups instead. And they're usually stuff like, you know, hey, would you stand the rest of the game with worms in your pants or something, you know, and like, you know, just really crazy things. And so people love to watch stuff like that, you know, so they kind of made a name for themselves by making those kinds of videos, bringing interesting folks on to like, you know, do them as well. They've got a few other like videos too, but I would say high level, they're known for fear pong videos, truth or drinks. And they have lineups as well, where they bring in a group of people and somebody has to guess whether they're like, you know, guess what their occupation is, you know, match their occupation up to the person or something like that, so on and so forth. Yeah.
Right. So
did I do a good job? Would you have a good idea of what it is?
You did a good job for sure. So tell us, I guess, you know, what got you involved with Cut? Did you see, you know, the fear pong and worms and pants and like, this is my life's calling, or what?
Okay, so actually, this is going to be a little like weird, and ride with me on this because, like, if you're a real Cut fan, you know, and you watch the channel, you start to become familiar with, you know, some of the people that they frequent. So I know Aunjoli in real life, like through my ex-boyfriend. And I always thought she was so gorgeous, beautiful, you know, all this stuff. And then I saw, like, I follow her on Instagram, and then she was like posting stuff about this like Cut channel. But yeah, so I was just kind of like, okay, so what is this? It's based in Seattle. Like, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do this. But it was pretty tricky to get, you know, cast in a video. They don't necessarily just like have open calls. They'll just present like, hey, these are the videos that we're shooting. If you feel like you know, might be a good fit for this, fill out this like form. We'll review your submission and kind of go from there. And so I would say for the longest time, I was either just like not really applying to things, or I was, and like I wasn't getting like chosen. And there was this one that they did, which was my very first one ever. And I you know, they were having a hard time, I guess, like finding family or like talents that would be down. And I know my parents are, they're fun people. They're very open and funny. Like I felt like they would be open to that, to like the idea of it. And it worked out. And Cut, you know, they liked that. My parents, the people on the internet loved my mom and dad. And so like from there, when I started to apply for other videos that, you know, might fit within what I feel like I could be a good fit for, it was easier, you know, like I was then kind of more like a familiar face to like familiar name. And the more videos that I did, the more that, you know, the internet loved me. And so it was kind of like a no-brainer, like, keep bringing me back. Like, what's up?
Do you know how many videos you've been in?
Oh, okay. So I tried to do a breakdown yesterday, because at this point it's just kind of like, oh, that's just one of my many. But actually, I've done 3 fear pong videos. I've done 2 truth or drinks. I have done 3 lineups. And then what else have I done? Oh, I did the button, which is like that dating, they had this dating show thing. So I did that. And then I also have done a couple of their Keep It 100s, which are just like those compilation type of videos. So those ones I don't count because it's literally just like a flash and then we're gone. So I would say at least 10 or 11 videos at this point.
Yeah. And 2 of those that you mentioned are interesting enough that I kind of want to talk about. One,
of course, go ahead.
One of them is, I believe it's a Truth or Drink, where it's doing it with a crush. Is that a real video? Did you really have to be like, hey, you're my crush and we need to do this video together? That just seems super awkward.
So I don't know for like, I can't necessarily speak for the other people, but for my date, TJ in the video, I actually had met him months before at this like event, and we didn't actually really, I would say, like acquaint each other. It was just an all-day event. We were both there like all day. So I guess our faces kind of became like familiar. And he didn't approach me like that day immediately. It was like, as we were leaving, it was a brief like, hey, we've literally like walked by each other like all day. Hey, what's up? Like, here's my name, that kind of like thing. And then I think after the event, we just kind of like were social media friends. And yeah, like I was kind of like, I didn't necessarily know that he was like interested in me from the jump, but he did throughout, I would say, the course of like the months, hint at like, hey, we should probably like get together soon, or, but life happens, we were busy. It didn't really ever come to fruition. And so I think Cut actually hit me up asking me about, that video. And I was like, okay, I guess I could do that. Like, this would be a good, like, it was an actual first date, and I guess you could say we were like crushing on each other. I wouldn't necessarily say super literal, like, oh, I've had this, crush on him. But like, it was definitely like a good opportunity for like a first date to try to get to know each other a little bit more. So.
Yeah. And I guess that the comments on that one talks about how it looks like, because it's brought on like you're the one that's crushing on him, but he's the one that kind of acted real awkward about all of it. So
yeah. So I don't know what was going on there with TJ, man, because we, even after the fact, like we've seen each other, we frequent, some of the same groups and stuff. The energy is always cool. And like the vibes are there. We're both Leos. Like, I don't know if that has to do with anything, but we have the same kind of, and so I think with that, too strong. And I know that, like, I know that I give off a lot of intimidating or like, strong personality, confidence vibes. And it's just one of those things where I don't know if he was like nervous, because again, it was really our first time kind of like actually hanging out, or if he actually was just being, more conscious about like what he was like trying to say and stuff. So I ultimately like don't know, but it made for great content.
And I guess that's the goal, but it's not some happily ever after where, and then we've been married for 6.5 months.
No. We hung out after that. Cause like, I don't know if you saw like at the end of the video where he was like, buy it and play it offline so that you can actually get like, freaky with it. And so like we did hang out afterwards, just to kind of like, spend some more time with each other. And he was a little bit more, I guess you could say, like more outgoing and open and stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily say it went like off the charts, I wouldn't say like switched like that. Yeah.
Well, the other one I want to talk about is another dating one. You're the first person I've had on that was on, that whole, the button thing. And you actually were in it at the very end. So, did you actually go on a date there? I mean,
we did. Yes. Brittany and I did go on a date, or Brit Brutality, as she likes to go by. We went to, there's this restaurant out here called Ma'am Noon. And it's kind of like Middle Eastern, I guess you would say, inspired. They have like a lot of lamb dishes and stuff like that. But we went on a date and we had a really good time. We went back to her apartment afterwards and like chatted it up. And her and I both are bisexual, so I think she and I both tend to have more of like consistent, I would say, like male partners or like male relationships, and the female relationships are kind of more of just like, this is a vibe that I could ride kind of thing.
So if you were on the desert island with her, with Britt, or with, was it TJ or DJ? TJ. I guess which one do you vibe with more? Is it Britt?
Oh, tricky. I would say I think I would say Britt more. And that's just because of like the all around, I think, energy is more of a better vibe. Yeah. Desert island, though, I'm thinking, physicality, I'd probably prefer a man, but Britt can hold it down. I know she can hold it down.
Well, if she goes by brutality, I think she probably does hold it down pretty well.
She's not somebody to play with.
No, I don't. I didn't get those vibes either. So yeah, I mean, with the videos that you've done, what's your favorite video that you've done, and maybe your least favorite?
Okay, so my favorite one, and I think I tend to forget about this for some reason, but it's either the Bumble lineup that I did. I don't know if you saw that, but I had to match the Bumble profiles to like 7 or 8 different guys. And I think what was fun about that one was that I liked the attention that I was getting. They were definitely like flirting, and like that always gives you like a good energy boost. But also I got them all right. Like, and the ones that I didn't get right, I knew I didn't get right, kind of thing. So like, for me, that was a really fun experience. I've met a couple like from that group. There's like 2 or 3 guys there who like were actually friends now in real life, that kind of thing. So, just it was cool to meet people. And then I would say my other one that is a top contender is the fear pong that I did, the phobias fear pong. That one was just fun through and through. It's a phobias one. So they're trying to like, make you get scared. And I was locked in a coffin with someone with crickets and bugs. Like, yes, for like 2 to 3 minutes. I had a tarantula crawling on my face. Like, who does that? And then the worst part about that one was they had us simulate pregnancy pains or like contractions. And so they put this little like contraction on her stomach and turn it all the way up. And I was flopping around like a fish, like, but it was a really fun time because even though it was a competition, we were all kind of like cheering each other on. It was a really good time all the way around on that one. So those ones I would say are my favorites. Least favorite, it's tricky. Because I struggle with like, the only reason why I would say my least favorite is the truth or drink episode that you're talking about is mainly just because of like the outside backlash that I've gotten. And then I'll get people who are like, attacking me, like trying to defend TJ and that kind of thing, where it's like, if they knew like our relationship, like you don't even need to do this. And on top of that, your opinion is formed off of like this video, this like 7-minute video of me. Like you don't actually know me. So I would say that was probably the least one just because of like everything that's like come with it. But at the same time on that video, people either love me, or they just like hate me. Oh, well, you win some, you lose some. Yeah.
So
yeah.
We're kind of talking about it a little bit, but how do you feel about, I guess, all these, essentially millions of people having seen, you on YouTube and some of the, I guess the things that you've shared. Does, if someone sees you and kind of looks at you, like, I think I know her, when you're strolling through Costco, does it ever get a little bit weird? Or?
So it's funny that you say that. I'm somebody who, like I was saying, I've lived in Seattle my whole life. It's hard for me to go somewhere and not see somebody that I like know. You know what I mean? Like even if I'm with like my mom or something, like, we all just, there's at least somebody that we're running into. So that to me is not necessarily like a big deal. It's really not. I love, like, personally, I love it. I want more people to like want to see me and want to like hear more about me. If anything, like I said, I have a podcast myself, and it's one of those things where it's like, hopefully we want millions of people to like listen to our podcast, in that same kind of way. So, honestly, for me, I love it. And at the same time, I understand people aren't going to love everything that I have to say. People aren't going to love everything that I have to do, but I'm just being authentically like me. I'm just being myself. And again, take it or leave it. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm going to be fine. I'm still going to be me. And I'm still going to be trying to, have others feel comfortable being the same way and doing the same stuff.
Right. So 2 more cut questions, then I do want to talk about your podcast.
Go ahead.
So, well, I mean, it sounds like the answer would be yes, but are you interested in doing more cut videos?
Yeah, for sure. There's this thing that they have in the works that I don't necessarily think we can like talk about. So that might be something that we see soon. And then I've just been watching out for all their casting calls, and there's not been any lately that fit them, but yeah, I definitely keep my eyes out for anything. Yeah. Because I would love it. Yeah.
So the other one would be, and I don't believe you've had to do one. I've talked to some that have, and it's normally their least favorite to have to do, but how do you feel about those lineup videos where you've got to rate from attractiveness and then put yourself in there?
Yeah.
Those are rough.
It's so funny that you say that, because like lineups, they terrify me. They really, really do. They brought me in to do one lineup that they didn't tell me what it was before, like they just asked me to like show up for something. And I was like, okay, yeah, of course. And it was like guess your ethnicity, and that one got kind of like, tricky because, race and stuff gets involved or whatever. And I am somebody who I feel like I can judge all day. Like, it's so easy for me to be like, ugly, cute, ugly, like, you know what I mean? But don't throw me in the mix. I don't want to hear about myself. Like, no, I don't need that kind of like negativity. So it's kind of like to me, that's a double standard. You know what I mean? Like, I can dish it, but I can't take it. So I personally don't really like want to do that, however, I'm pretty confident in myself, and I would hope that, if I were to be called in for something like that, I can handle it in a way that I'm not hurting feelings.
So tell us about your podcast, The Way with Jazz and Tay. I like the flow of that just flows right off your tongue. So
isn't it cute?
It is cute. I don't have a cool name like that, but to play on my name too with my podcast. But I like The Way with Jazz and Tay.
Yeah, thank you. No, I do like that. I like that your name is a play as well. Cause like same with ours, like my name is Jasmine. My co-host's name is Shantae. So hence the Jazz and Tay aspect of things. But yeah, it's essentially like it's a variety show, but we definitely try to keep things fresh. And so we do a lot of like, hot topics and hot takes. But at the same time, we're very pro-Black and pro-woman, and any time that we can kind of like elevate those marginalized communities on our podcast, we're trying to do that. So I think one of the biggest things that we always kind of touch on and talk about is, of course, like politics. We're always giving our hot takes on, what's going on as far as that goes. But we're also, like dating and, entertainment, what have we been watching on TV? What's the internet talking about this week? And we just give our unsolicited opinions on it, like, yeah, because nobody's asking for this, but hey, we're going to give it to you anyways.
I like it. Yeah. So from what I've gathered based on your description there, basically your podcast is the complete opposite of what I do, which I give absolutely no opinion, and and really no one really knows exactly my thoughts behind stuff. So really you're just doing the complete 180.
Yes. And I think what is fun about that is that people really get a good sense of like who we are and our personalities. And we like to try to get guests on our show as well, so that hopefully because Shantae and I, generally have agreeing ideas. We generally agree with what each other is feeling and thinking. And so it's always great when we get somebody on that can like challenge that, or even just bring a different perspective to it. And that was essentially kind of what started the podcast anyways. We met as strangers, became roommates, and we're realizing that like after work, we're decompressing, with one another, and we're just like talking, having these deep conversations. And occasionally maybe somebody would come over and they're jumping in too. And we're like, yo, we really should be like recording this, or, like, why don't we start a podcast? And after like a year and a half of talking about it, we finally did it. And so here we are now, like 2 years later. We're on local AM radio every Thursday live, and that's something that helps keeps us stay like consistent, so it's very fun. It's very fun. It's become a part-time job. It's a lot of work.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. So but is it live on the radio on Thursdays?
Exactly.
See,
yes.
That's a whole nother element. That's tough. See, this podcast, I've given a few of the episodes to various radio stations, definitely during COVID, that we're trying to, just fill time and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't live. So I'm able to, edit things down, but I couldn't even imagine trying to do a podcast and it being live.
Well, and on top of that, keep in mind that we have to watch our mouths. We can't cuss. It's on live air, so occasionally we might like let something slip, and our board engineer has to hurry up and like catch it before the rest of, Seattle hears it. And but it's, the live aspect has been very, I don't know how to explain it. It helped us switch gears really quickly. Before we were just kind of like, we'll record when we feel like it. We'll record when we, feel like it, that kind of thing. But, once we were offered this, opportunity, and they were like, yeah, make sure that you guys record an intro so that, we can put you guys in and out, and make sure that you guys know that you need to take commercial breaks and stuff. We're like, wait, this is a thing. Like, okay, this is actually becoming like a whole show technically. And, we've been doing it now on the radio for almost a year and a half now, every Thursday. People are starting to, I guess, tune in a little bit more. Like our downloads are getting up. So I think people are starting to recognize us and like love us.
Well, that's awesome. So where do you feel like you get recognized more? Is it from those cut videos, or is it now from this radio gig?
Yeah, good question. So definitely more from cut for sure. Just because cut is, like with the radio, it's local to like the greater Seattle area. Whereas cut, it's on YouTube. I have people who I've met now from like the UK, but like, just all over. So definitely I get more like, I feel like noticed from that. But there's been times when I have been out and about, and especially with Shantae, and it's like, oh my God, it's the way. And, like, oh, hey, like I listened to you guys. And we actually had a guest on recently who the only reason why she was a guest was because like her manager listens to our show and was like, hey, I've got a client who would probably, like that kind of thing. So that's dope, because that gives us, like new people to talk to and introduce and that kind of stuff. So definitely cut first, but the podcast is definitely on its way. Like people are definitely like, we're known relatively locally as like the Way with Jazz and Tay podcast.
Yeah. So the Way with Jazz and Tay, there's the people that aren't in the Seattle area to catch it on the radio. They can get it, I guess, from all podcast platforms, I assume.
Yeah. So we're live every Thursday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. on the radio. And then usually by 9 a.m., the episode's out on all platforms. And like literally any platform that offers a podcast, we're on it. That's just how cool we are. There's no excuse why you can't find us, that kind of thing.
Right. So I didn't know the time. So you have to be with it and excited and ready to go at 7 a.m.
And that's the whole fun of it, because at 7 a.m. in the morning, why wouldn't you want to talk to like somebody like me? You know, we're there waking you up, and, you know, those icebreakers, we play like games in the morning to kind of like get people, you know, thinking, that kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of like been an added bonus, because, you know, in the morning, I'm sure you probably are in traffic, you know, humming your way to work. And then you've got us in your ears, you know, and hopefully waking you up, bringing some kind of like energy to your day. Yeah, Shantae is not a morning person, and she definitely needs her coffee. So it's funny because some mornings our energy levels are different, you know, but she always comes through, and like, you know, usually within the first like 5 to 10 minutes, she's there, you know, we're there. Right. 7 a.m.'s early. It's early.
But that's a prime spot on the radio. That's when everyone's driving to work. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so people can check that out on all podcast platforms. If you're in Seattle, you can check it out on the radio on your way to work on Thursdays. How can people connect with you outside of that podcast?
So slowly, real quick. Sorry, let me back it up. It's in Seattle. It's AM radio 1150. Or you can stream it live online, kknw.com. So you can find the podcast on Instagram, and it's The Way with Jazz and Tay, or you can find us on any streaming platform, search the same thing, The Way with Jazz and Tay. And then my personal Instagram is Jazzy Monet 93, and that's Monet, like Monet, like the French painter. And that'll give you into like, that's just all me. That'll give you a peek into my crazy little mind and all the things that I'm into.
So Jazzy Monet 93, and then The Way with Jazz and Tay. Is that right?
Perfect. Yes, you got it.
Very good. Well, I'll tell you, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm glad that you reached out. This was a good conversation.
Well, good. Absolutely. So that was Jasmine, really cool person doing some really awesome things. Let's kick it to Aunjoli, also doing some amazing things outside of cut. Here's Aunjoli. I am here today with Aunjoli Jean-Pierre. How are you, Aunjoli?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So obviously we're going to talk a lot about cut. That's kind of where we know you from. But before that, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a model, born and raised in Seattle, Washington. I love animals, being outside, you know, all that fun stuff. So yeah. And doing cut videos, obviously, duh.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, that's a big thing. So we talked before we started kind of about making sure I said your name correctly. That's a very unique name, and I know that's the case because you even are able to have your website with just your first name.
Yeah, there's all of my handles are just my first name. So
there's very few people that can do that unless you're Oprah or Prince or something like that. No one is able to have just their first name. So how did that happen? I guess where did the name come from?
Actually my great aunt named me Aunjoli. Back in like the 80s, there is this perfume called Aunjoli, but it's spelled Enjoli. And there's like this catchy like theme song to it or whatever. And they just took that and switched the spelling, and that's where it came from. It's one hell of a name to name a newborn. I'm like, who names like a tiny newborn Aunjoli? Like, that's a lot of.
You go by something shorter though, right? I think I've kind of heard it a couple times in your cut videos with your family.
Yeah, my family calls me Ani.
Ani, I got you. But yeah, no, it's definitely a unique name, and it's cool that you're able to get just that. I think what is it? I think it's called, I even wrote it down, a mononym, that you're able just to have your first name. So
yeah, like Madonna, Beyonce.
There you go. You're in good company then.
Right.
Well, you talked a little bit about being, from Seattle, and you're at least still in that area if you're doing cut videos. So what do you think about the Emerald City? Do you enjoy Seattle?
I love it. There's no place like Seattle in the summer. I live like on the lake, so like my view right now, it's like this beautiful view of the lake, and it's sunny today, which is very rare. It's home. It's a great place to like raise a family and just be, and it's up and coming also. So it's a lot of cool things happening in the city.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of your YouTube videos, like the ones on your channel, I noticed that it mixes in a lot of your family. So do you live with your family? I feel like if you live in a lake, if you live by a lake, you might have to. Seattle's really, really expensive.
It is. I was actually very fortunate enough to live in my own house. It's just my boyfriend. My parents actually, we're really close. So my parents live, like if you turn on a song, you'll get to their house before the song is over. And then same with my grandparents. They live like right down the street. So it's really close. I love it that way. I go grocery shopping at my parents' house all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's a good thing when it's a good thing, and a bad thing when it's a bad thing.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. So, it's okay. I guess let's kind of get into the cut videos. It's kind of a tall task, but this podcast we talk to all kinds of different people, so I don't ever assume anything. So let's just talk about what cut is. Can you tell us what cut is as a whole?
It's basically a YouTube channel where they take regular everyday people, put them in weird situations, ask them uncomfortable questions, and just see how they react. And just like, it's kind of like they break this barrier. I don't know how to even explain it, but it's like a social experiment, and it's really cool.
No, I think that's a good explanation. It's definitely kind of a social experiment with every video. You don't necessarily like I've talked to other cut people. There's times that they come up with a question that they're asking, like I have nothing I would have ever even imagined that I want to know the answer to, but I'm going to have to figure out what these people have to say to this.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what was the first cut video that you were in? Because you've been in quite a few.
I have been in a lot. The first one I was in was a lineup video, guess the person to the job. Mm-hmm. And I was like the person with the job that they were guessing.
Do you know how many you have been in?
Oh, actually I don't. I feel like at least 10, maybe. But they do like they do these things where they'll film one day and then break it up into different videos. So it's like it's kind of hard because sometimes I don't even remember that I did like when the Keep It 100 series when they have like just clips of a whole bunch of people really fast. I don't even remember I did that. So
yeah. Sometimes surprise for you when you see yourself in it.
Like, oh, I said that.
Yeah. So how did you originally get started with cut? Other people I've talked to, they've, there was a open call or they knew someone, but what was your experience and how did you get involved?
So basically I was watching cut videos, like enjoying it like any other person. And I noticed there were so many people with like Seattle sportswear attire on. And I was like, what the hell like, where is this? So I Googled it. And then they used to have everybody who had that worked there, they would have their picture and like a bio of them. And I saw one of my classmates from high school. He was like a video editor. His name is Joe. And basically I just reached out to him on Facebook. I was like, hey, how do I get on here? And he sent me the link and I signed up for the link and then I got that lineup video. And then they've just been asking me back ever since. I don't like ask to be in. They're like, oh, we want you in this one. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. And you, unlike a lot of people, you seem to have made it a complete family affair. We've met everybody, your grandpa, your mom, your stepdad, your stepbrother. You just drag them all into it. Exactly.
It's kind of a running joke that I force them to do it, but they love doing it. So it's not even that bad.
Yeah. So there's been a few that like definitely your parents, they've done some on their own. So that just shows that you're not forcing them.
Exactly. I'm like, you guys love it. So it's not even a big deal.
Yeah. So does Cut come to you and ask you to bring along the family or how does that actually happen? How'd you get them to do the first one anyways?
I think there was one that I had. The first one I did with my mom and my stepdad, I didn't tell my stepdad what I was doing with them because I knew he would say no, but my mom knew. So we kind of conned him into doing it. And then he gets recognized everywhere and he like loves it because he'll be at Costco in line and people will be like, oh my God, I saw you on Cut. And then he'll call me on FaceTime because they want to FaceTime me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in my like face mask and like chilling at home. It's so funny. But yeah, that's how they got into it. And then my parents are just characters in themselves. So I guess it was just like great formula. Like that's literally how they are like at home. So
Yeah. I guess I'm surprised to hear that your stepdad was the one that was maybe the most hesitant, because I feel like he's the one with the biggest personality on the camera.
definitely is. And then me and him together is just like a whole nother dynamic. It's so funny.
Yeah. And I believe you when you say that they're the kind of the same way at home, because you posted that video, I guess, when you were a fake tattoo, and they had stuff going even then. So
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. So how much when you said it, when you go to these I guess these productions, you said that they ask you to do them. Do they tell you now exactly what it's going to be? Because I've talked to people that's like, they don't exactly know what they're getting themselves into when they show up. Is that the case for you, or?
So sometimes they do. So like if I'm guessing something, if I'm like the guesser on a lineup, they don't tell you anything because they want you to be like shock value. Majority of the time they do tell you exactly what's happening. Like I did this like a spin-off series for Snapchat. It was through Cut. It eventually was later released on YouTube, which was the lie detector test. But at first that was on Snapchat. And basically it was like, they're like, oh, you're doing this and this and this. You're getting hooked up to the lie detector test. That was when I definitely had to like beg my dad to do, because he's like, I don't want to be hooked up to a lie detector test. Like, what if he asked me some incriminating blah blah blah? I'm like, what do you have to hide? Like, what is the, like, it took up to literally maybe 30 minutes before shoot time that he was like, fine, I'll do it. And it was because of how much we were getting paid to do it, because it was a Snapchat sponsorship. So it was a good chunk of money.
Well, that's good to hear, because I've heard that there's not a lot of money in cut videos. A lot of times it's just hopeful that it gets your name out there. So
yeah, I think that's also another reason why a lot of people like to do it, because they're like hoping that their name gets rolling. Like I had no intention. I didn't even think about it. Like the effect of like my social media following becoming bigger and all of that stuff. It happened, and I was like, oh, whoa. Like I was literally in the video at the, like my first video, I was in the end for like 10 minutes, if that. And then obviously the comments, people were like, oh my God, who is she? Blah, blah, blah. And then, so that's really what happened. I was recently just talking to a girl who was like, they're casting for a specific topic. And she's like, I don't want to be pegged into this topic. And I was like, you just have to know how to market yourself, because.
So we talked about your dad, but what did your grandpa think about being in a video? Did he even necessarily know what, like, did he, I guess, really know a lot about YouTube? Because that would be a whole another thing to try to explain to my grandparents.
He knew nothing. And it was so cute because he always calls it TV. He's like, so I'm on TV. And I'm like, oh my God. You're like, yeah, you are. And he gets recognized too. And like, he could barely hear, could barely see. And like, when people come up to him, he's like, you saw me on what? Like, you know, but he loved it when he actually saw it.
Yeah, I can just imagine, because even with this podcast with my grandparents, they're always like, I always forget what time it comes on. I'm like, it doesn't come on at a certain time. You can listen to it whenever you want. I think that's an excuse not to listen, but okay. I don't remember what time it comes on. Okay.
Exactly.
No, that's funny. So I this is maybe a hard question, or one you don't want to answer, but what was your favorite and least favorite videos that you've been in?
Ooh, that is a difficult one to answer. Okay. So if you're a Supercut fan and you see videos as soon as they come out, there's a video that I was in that was so controversial that they actually deleted it. And it was if you search how black are you or guess who's the blackest, you'll see other people reacting to it, and you could see bits and pieces of it. But that was very, very, very interesting for me. I wouldn't say it was my favorite or my least favorite, but it was definitely something that it stuck in me a lot. Like, it's something that I think about often. Like, I wish I would have stayed up, you know? And then my actual favorite one was when I played fear pong with my family for Christmas. Or I think it was fear pong Was it beer pong? Or truth or drink.
Oh, you did fear pong with them too for Christmas, anyways.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, with Santa and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I think that one's so funny.
You wouldn't do everything. Most people they're game for any of it, and you didn't refuse to do some things.
Right. Oh, and actually, my least favorite. It's not even my least favorite. It's my least favorite because everybody's so mean to me in the comments. Is when I pick the outfit to the person. And it drives me crazy because they're like, oh, she's so judgy. She's so this. That's literally the task at hand. Like and when you film these things, they film out all the others. I mean, they like edit out all the stuff. So I'm like sitting there like, I hate judging people. I hate doing this. I hate doing this. But of course, the way that they edit it and film it, then it makes you look a certain way. But I really don't care.
Right. And the ones that they make people like rate level of attractiveness, that would be, I would hate that. And then you got to put yourself in the list. That would not be enjoyable.
I'm so glad I haven't been asked to do one of those yet.
Yeah. Well, if Cut's listening, that's the next video she needs to do. No, but yeah, I mean, with Cut, I was interested to hear that you do actually get recognized. Just kind of a very non-scientific look. Your videos, I think they've been viewed at least 53 million times all together with all the different ones. So is it, I guess, is it strange to be recognized based off of those videos? Because you definitely are talking about some very personal thing in some of the videos. So when you're being seen in Costco and they know some crazy things about you, that could get awkward with the wrong person.
No, it really is. So like, especially when it first started happening, I would be at the airport and people would DM me and say, I think I saw you at the airport. I'm like, just come up and say hi. Like, if anything, like, it's not that big a deal. Or like, I see people just staring or trying to take pictures. It's like, it's fine. Just ask. It's not a big deal anymore. But I do, when people actually do come up to me like, oh my God, I love you on YouTube. I'm like, which one? Immediately my eyes get big and I'm like, which one did you see? I'm like, it's definitely interesting every time.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So do you think about that at all? I guess the legacy behind that. Obviously we're all still young, so it's not something to worry about too much. But when your grandpa's age, do you worry about, oh man, people are gonna remember some of these videos?
At first I thought I was going to be like, oh my God, whatever. But I definitely, everybody knows when they're being problematic or like, like they know as soon you're thinking of your thoughts before you say them. You know what I mean? You know if something's going to be just off the wall. So I just consciously monitor myself when I do go in, and like, they're those strip ones. Like, I'm not going to get naked on YouTube. Like, there's no way. Like, wow. There's no way. But so I don't think I would necessarily be like, oh, I'm so mad that I said that, because if I said it, then I said it, at that point, or if I did it, I did it. I'm not really ashamed of it. Sometimes I do think like, oh, if I wanted a real job, like if they just Google, if all they have to do is type my first name and they see all my Cut videos. So it's like, but it hasn't been a problem. So.
Right. Yeah. And I think Cut, they do some things obviously to get views, but as a whole, this is something I've talked about before. They do such a great job on just kind of showing the commonality in most people, that even though we're all very, very, very different and we do some very different things, that we're all really pretty similar.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I guess the next question would be, are you interested in doing more Cut videos? You asked about being asked back.
Yeah, actually, I have like the director's phone numbers and I like text them all. That they're texting me back and forth all the time. They'll even ask me like, hey, do you know anybody that does this, does that? And I reach out to my friends, because people come to me all the time. They're like, can I be in a Cut video? I'm like, I can't control that, but I can let you know if I find anything. I was actually asked to do a lineup video next week, but I'll be in San Diego. So I was like, sorry. And they're like, it's okay. We'll hit you up next time. So. Yeah. I mean, there is times where I say no, and I it's because I'm busy, but I love doing them. So I usually try to make it work.
Right. When you've involved most of your family at this point, the next step is just when you have kids, get them in those hi-ho kid videos, right?
Exactly. I love the Hi Ho Kid videos. They're so adorable.
Yeah, no, they are pretty funny. I
Yeah.
like those too. So outside of cut, we're beyond that now. Tell us just a little bit about, I guess, what you do when you're not at those cut studios, because I know there's a lot of life outside of that.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm a model. Um, I do that full time. I'm signed with an actual agency. People are very widely mistaken Instagram model versus actual model these days. But that has been my career since I was 17 years old. I do like YouTube videos and stuff like that. Just really, I just live day by day the way that I want to do it. I'm very blessed and fortunate to be able to do that. And you know, be able to stay creative with like YouTube videos and doing stuff around my house and like right now I'm creating a media room, so it's just going to be like where all my camera setup is, my backdrop, and like you know, this media stuff, like basically where you're at now, but just with everything, because it's kind of like all over the place at this moment, so that I could just be a one-stop shop for my own self. And if I need some content, I could bang it out, whether it be a photo shoot or a YouTube video. So yeah,
that's really cool. What kind of modeling do you do? And I know nothing about modeling, so maybe it's all the same, but isn't there kind of difference between like fashion models and the ones that are like doing it for, you know, magazines, and people are doing it for the Kmart ads and stuff like that? Or do you do whatever pays?
So I have an agency. I've been with them since I was 17. I do basically all of it. I've done runway before. I do sports modeling. I do beauty modeling, which is like just close-ups of your face for like ads and stuff like that. Some of the clients, it's been like Nordstrom, Lululemon, Xbox, Microsoft, Kate Somerville. Like I've had a lot of campaigns over the like last 12 years of doing it. It's a lot of work. A lot of people think it's just, oh, you go get pretty and you go get in front of a camera. Like, no, it's literal 8-hour days where you have to be high energy and look good while doing it. Like, that's not like, it's not as easy as it seems, but it's really fun and I love it. So
how has that been affected this past year with COVID? Have you seen an issue or?
It's so strange. So at the beginning of COVID, like March to maybe October-ish, September, October-ish, it was just dead. Like obviously there was not much work. Like I remember when I was getting like castings for stuff, I would have to self-shoot. So thank God I even have the equipment, because I do like YouTube videos and stuff anyway. So I was able to like do a casting as if I went into the actual facility to do it, or you know, take pictures, whatever. My boyfriend's really great at like helping me set up the scene and get what needs to be done to these casting directors so I could get these jobs. And then all of a sudden it started picking up so much, and I've been working, so I am very grateful for that. I've booked like a few campaigns within the last couple of weeks, and I couldn't be more happy. So
no,
they'll be coming out soon.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So we'll even you've got that perfect name, and eventually we'll all know it that don't already, right?
You're right. Exactly. Hopefully.
Yeah, so for those who are listening and do want to hear more about you or hear more from you, how can they connect? You talked about your YouTube. We know you got their website, but how can they connect the best?
My Instagram is my name, Aunjoli. Twitter as well. I've basically dominated all of the platforms of my first name, and there's another girl out there that has the first name and she tries to get it all the time. I'm like, no, like no, sorry ma'am. But my website, aunjoli.com as well, you could contact and get in touch with me. Yeah,
very good. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I really appreciate your time, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, I really appreciate it.
And there's my interviews with both Jasmine Kendrick and Aunjoli Jean-Pierre. Hope you enjoyed those. I really enjoy cut videos. I really enjoyed speaking with them. Urge you to check out, what they're up to, whether it's the podcast with Jasmine, or whether it's, the modeling and a lot of other things that Aunjoli has going on. Just really cool people, and I understand why they're so welcomed on the cut videos. Urge you to check out Cut. I mean, they're certainly not for everyone. I think there are videos for everyone. Some of them do get a little bit crazy at times, but the overall arching, I think, theory behind Cut is just to show our similarities and show that, that connection and companionship and just have real conversations. So they're interesting social videos. So check that out on YouTube should you want to. And, check out, like I said, both of them. Follow them on all of their social media they told you about. And, of course, follow us. Always appreciate that. Not Enough Podcast on Instagram, jacksonhuff.com. And we also have a Facebook page, Not Enough with Jackson Huff. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next time. Take it away, Chris.
This has been Not in a Huff with Jackson Huff. Thank you for listening. Be sure to join us next time where we will interview another amazing guest who is sure to make you laugh or make you think. Or, hey, maybe even both. But until then, keep being awesome.